Good morning, and this is the annual winter workshop in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I feel there's only really one question that needs to be talked about these 2 days together. And my suspicion is that we will come at it from many different directions, each one from our own inner questioning, inner doubts, inner disappointments, and inner excitement and delight that has happened since most of us gathered last year. But the essential question that would be absolutely magnificent if you could leave here tomorrow with a deeper connection to that which you truly are, and not to that which your mind tells you that you are. If that is in any way successful for any of you or us, if that is achieved, not as an achievement, but as an experiential, wow, it's true. It's true. I'm not my mind. I'm not my thinking. I'm not my body. I'm not my life story. Oh my God, am I even Mary Margaret? What is the truth of this? Because we have been told, especially in the last 10 years, endlessly, over and over again, we are not what we perceive ourselves to be. How many times have we heard this? Over and over and over again. Yet, there is an ongoing insistence that we are somehow that job, that life in the world, that difficulty, that illness, that somehow it is truly who we are. And the rest is just to be prayed for and hoped for. And if we're lucky enough, you know, God wandering around the planet will find us and touch on us, and we will be the one that gets some grace. No, it is not like that. And if that deepens as the knowledge that it is not that, then what remains is that. When you focus carefully on all of the obvious things that you are not, on all the obvious things that appear that you are not, then it begins to arise in you, well, if I'm not that, and if I'm not that, and if I'm really not my life story, and if I'm really not this thought that I'm running, and if I'm really not ill with this illness that I say I am, all of these things begin to unwind in their own way. And as they unwind on their own, without the so-called you, who is going to do the unwinding? If there is no central, unified, ongoing, limited, small little worm like you, if there really isn't one of those, then who's doing what? And how does this happen? Because unwinding happens. Unwinding happens, and by that we mean the unwinding of the tight story that has been knit around all human consciousness as little ones when they're born. Very shortly, far earlier than is stated by many, there begins a web that moves around them, that becomes a belief, I am this, I am that, I need this, I need that. The infant says, I need this, I need this. Well, if there is no infant, if there is no reality in that infantness, if that isn't true, then what's going on? So we have to be willing to investigate this. And this means we have to be willing to drop all of the ideas that we have accumulated in our consciousness about who we think we are. So go back to this infant. The story is that when they're 2 or 3, they break open and they go, I'm separate and all that. I hear all that, and all of that's understood on one level, but there's another way to look at this. If there never is anything individuated in there, if there never is anything there, then what is really at play here? And as you well know, all of you, no one in this room is going to find this surprising. You all know that the web is words. The web that ties, that binds, is words. Not the movement of energy. Not energy. Words. Words. And as the words roll out, just like yarn in a ball rolling across your entire life, only in this case it's winding up around you and forming a cocoon shape around you through which you, as consciousness, can see through. Obviously, you see through it since it's a part of you, but we'll talk about that later. So all of these things, constantly, you as consciousness, vast, never-changing, amazing, call it what you want. Call it awareness, call it God, call it Fred. It doesn't matter what you call it. But something from the earliest days, look at a baby's eyes. Do you say, oh, there's nobody in there? Do you look at a baby and say there's nobody in there? It's the absolutely opposite. You look at a baby, you say, oh my God, look who's in there. Because their eyes are so magnificent and so clear and so wondrous. And that is the beginning. That is the beginning of the, pay attention. Pay attention. All of the tools that you need to find out who you are present every moment in your life experience if you choose to look for them. However, if you choose to look for things that are going to support your story, that you're separate, that means you're special. You get it? If you're separate, you've got to be special. The only way to be ordinary is to be like everything else, in which case we're talking about being ordinary in the sense of you're all the same. Very few humans applaud that thought. Oh, we're all the same. Oh, of course, we're all the same. Well, except for my gift of whatever it might be. So, as we move through, we will begin to undo, allow the undoing to happen. Even saying we will undo, I've already lied. You know, I'm back to Bartholomew. Every time I open my mouth, I lie. And the same thing goes true here today, and I want us all to be aware of that. Words are limitation. We have to get words a limitation. So the thing is to move beyond that. So the question these 2 days, how? Now most of you know how. In fact, the truth of it is you all know how. Because you all do it all the time. But you're just not present to your own awakened moments. You are not present to your awakened moments because you are fixated on trying to fix your life because you think if you fix your life, you're going to be aware of your awakened moments. Do you see how nuts that is? I would like to just present that. That is insane. You say this to a child and they will say, what are you talking about? You see? It's not like that. It is so utterly simple. So how is it simple? Why is it simple? I will state why it's simple, and then we'll spend the next 2 days working out why it's simple. It is simple because everything, absolutely everything that you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, think, all of it is it. Is it. Nothing is not it. So, you, as nothing not it, run around looking for it. Listen to these words. You spend the time trying to find something that is already it. So it looks for it. Come on. Come on. Let's just undo this mystery because it's the problem with non-duality, as I've experienced